London News. Dr. Barry, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world watching this. The old saying, Nero fiddled as Rome burned. Just like the people in the background looking at our website, they're all excited about it, but probably don't even know what it's about. It goes back to the old Protestant ethic, keep the people happy, make sure they can let off steam the weekend. Like the magician who clicks his hand, but down here with the other hand, he is rubbing you blind. And it's good to watch football and it's good to have a hobby and things like that. But be mindful that the government, anything they give you, well, they're not a government, the corporations, anything they give you is not for your benefit. They're fiddling you while you're all off barracking for this and barracking for that and having a wonderful time. Your schools have been ripped apart, your community's been ripped apart, that violence is out of control, the police are undermanned. Everything is happening while you're having fun. Well, that's okay, guys. But sadly, things come to a crunch. Now, the people, the men and women, are fighting back through common law. And common law on its own is nothing. It's not worth a pinch of salt, being polite, unless you have backing. So hence the sheriff. We have set up the sheriff's office some time ago, but we have now realized how valuable that is because it's totally independent of any governor generals, but 10 governor generals, attorney generals, statute governor generals, anything you like. It's totally independent. And if you've been watching some of the videos on this channel, office of the sheriff's office, and so on, you will see where that power comes from. It comes from the men and women. Remember, at one time, politicians carried out the will of the people. So when a politician got elected, he carried out the will of the people who elected him. Governments were there to carry out the will of the people, by the people, the old saying. But now they're all private companies since actually 1999. Let's go back around then, they all privatized. And a private business, let's call them businesses, calling them corporations is probably too good. Let's just call them a little corporation, little business. So there you have, we set up a little business called McDonald's Ducks, and we tell everybody they have to buy a duck every Sunday. If they don't, we'll fine them. It's the same thing. What authority do we have to do that? We don't. Councils are department of the state. They have a certain lot of authority, but only to persons. And personally speaking, I'm not a person. Haven't been for a long time, only when it suits me. So it might be one tomorrow. It's like everything else you can adopt. But the corporations have given up the Constitution, and we hear this Constitution thing all the time. American Constitution, they have amendments, which makes it pretty powerful. But what do we have? We don't have the Magna Carta here, and there's only 3 parts of the Magna Carta that actually work for us, but it's not in our Constitution. But now the Constitution, according to the Labour Party, is a most important document we've got because they're going to have a referendum. But they had one in 1967, which they seem to have forgotten about. And as a private business, they're not subject to the Constitution. That's how they're getting away with it. That's why the courts are a private company. They don't have to take an oath to the Crown, yet they call themselves on behalf of the Crown. Well, I was over in the UK at court cases, and the Crown still exists because a victim of the system, he was up there for doing something very wrong. He didn't turn up in court and got arrested, which was fair enough, but he went before a magistrate, and the magistrate says, you can come back here another day, or you can go before the Crown Court and have a jury of your peers. It still exists here. In Australia, it doesn't. A jury's duty can actually question the law in which somebody was charged under. So when you have a court case, they say judge and jury. Now, the jury is the judge. The guy is nothing. The guy pretending to be a judge is just an administrator, and they know that. And that's probably one of the good reasons they got rid of it, one of many. Anyway, look at these videos I'm putting up now. It's just a few interesting ones about the referendum that happened in 1966. Why they want another one? Well, I can't be careful. I've got to be careful what I say. You ask that question and answer it too. Anyway, please have a watch these video clips. It explains a lot. Our wonderful Prime Minister, which under the Constitution doesn't exist, he is one lion. How is your father? That guy is disgusting. There's proof. Now, all these things are my opinion, but there is proof of crime in this video you're going to see. London News, sign off. Please subscribe, support your local sheriffs. There's a couple here now, but it's getting bigger. and we're now a member of the National Sheriff's Association USA. Good on us, yeah. Please support us, guys. We need a lot of financial support to carry on. We have big backing in the UK at the moment, money-wise, and a few things are going to happen on that one as well. Bye for now.
Because the eyes of the world are on Australia.
It is on that day, May 27, 1967, that Australians will say yes.
The result of the referendum on the Aboriginal question was a resounding triumph for the Aboriginal cause. Australia recorded a yes vote of nearly 91%.
I couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe it. I didn't think that people cared that much about it.
Ladies and gentlemen,
By 1967, it has been a long struggle, a decade of campaigning. The late Faith Bandler, a woman of South Sea Island descent, not Indigenous, is the champion who inspires others, among them Shirley Peasley.
We were so happy from dancing in the street and holding hands and singing, and I think they must have thought we were all very crazy.
Today, I go back over those old ballot forms. Here is the tally of votes, all recorded by hand. Australians tick yes in numbers never seen before or since. This country that had told Aboriginal people they would die out now includes us.
So much hope.
So must Sir John Kerr accept your advice, whatever advice you give?
Unquestionably, the Governor-General takes the advice from his Prime Minister and from no one else.
And must act on that advice?
Unquestionably, the Governor-General must act on the advice of his Prime Minister.
There is no tolerance here. He must
None
do...
whatever.
Well, may we say, God save the Queen. Because nothing will save the Governor-General.
Probably the most significant thing the Queen will do on this visit was to sign the Proclamation of Australia Act 1986. This severs the remaining constitutional links with Britain, links with Parliament, the judiciary and the Privy Council. Only the link with the Crown remains. Thus Australia is now nearer to becoming a republic if the people so desire.
Government House, Canberra, where the Labor Party today ended more than 7 years in the political wilderness. Mr Hawke and his 27 ministers arrived here for the swearing-in ceremony that would put them in government. For the first time, cameras were allowed inside the Governor-General's study.
I, Robert James Lee Hawke, do swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, her heirs and successors, according to law, so help me God.
So what are you going to do in Westminster Abbey when you are urged to say the oath of allegiance to King Charles?
I do that every term.
No, I know, but are you going to say it in the Abbey with the world's cameras watching?
I will do what's entirely appropriate as the representative of Australia, which is Australians made a choice in 1999. And one of the things that you've got to do is to accept democratic outcomes. So we made that choice, and I will certainly engage in that spirit.
So you will say the oath?
As I have done 10 times when I get sworn into Parliament. Yes.
Just to be clear, in the Abbey, there's been confusion over whether you will. As the Prime Minister of Australia, in the Abbey, on Saturday, you will say the oath.
As the Prime Minister of Australia, it's expected that I will do that.
Mr Albanese, I invite you to take and subscribe the affirmation of office as Prime Minister of Australia.
I, Anthony Norman Albanese, do solemnly and sincerely affirm and declare that I will well and truly serve the Commonwealth of Australia, her land and her people in the office of Prime Minister. I, Anthony Norman Albanese, do swear that I will well and truly serve the Commonwealth of Australia, her land and her people in the office of Minister for Infrastructure and Transport and Minister for Regional Australia and Local Government.
Would you sit down and sign the document, please?